Neonic Void Productions presents.
I'm just gonna dive right in.
Okay, yeah, I was like, should I say something or?
I'm trying to think of an intro, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna dive right in. Hi, and welcome to the House of Ideas podcast. I am your host, Devin, and today I am joined with. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
No. It's me, Tim. Once again, I have graced this podcast with my presence.
Hell yeah. This is the third time? Yes, third time. Because by the time this podcast comes out, this will be the third time. This episode comes out anyway. Because you've done the Monica Rambeau and then the Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, I was a little embarrassed about how I did Scarlet Witch though, because like I always feel, I mean, I know you edit it, but at the same time, I feel like I ramble and I get off point, and I always feel like I should do maybe do a script before we do these things. So okay, part 1, part 2, part 3. So it's save you some work, you know what I mean?
Again, you're perfectly fine. This is I'm fine with the back and forth, and if you get sidetracked, we get sidetracked. It's not that big of a deal. It's just more of as I've said with many of other guests that have been on here, because people will always worry about the same thing. I'm like, this is more of a free form pod. It's not so. I mean, it's structured, but like if we get sidetracked, it's not that big of a deal because I get sidetracked on my own shit, so it's perfectly fine. But yes, Tim has been on the pod 2 times before for the Scarlet Witch episode, which this episode's episode 16 when it comes out, because I pre-record a bunch of these. So the last episode he did was episode 13 for Scarlet Witch, and then episode 11 before that for Monica Rambeau.
Our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, our Lord and Savior. Queen. I think these episodes will come out because I'm starting posting. Future Devin, cut this part out. I'm gonna start posting episodes again in the first Monday in May. So yeah, this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th episode. So this probably won't come out until June, technically. Yeah, it'll be June. Yeah,
so far, so close yet so far away.
Right. I know. That's what happens when life happens, and then you just I need pre-record. Let's get this going. So, again, you want to follow Tim on Twitter. His Twitter handle and everything he wants to be included in the description will be there if you want to find him elsewhere. In the description below as well with my stuff, there'll be the link tree that'll lead you to the other Neonic Void family of podcasts. Links to the Spotifys as well as the Twitters and the YouTube channel we have now. So please go explore through the void of the other pods. We're having a lot of fun over there in the others. So today we are joined again with Tim, and we're going to be talking about. We're gonna jump over the pond a little bit to not Marvel. We're going back to DC. Now, I know it's been a hot minute since I've been over here in the DC realm since the episode I did with Wick on the Lantern Corps. So it's been a minute.
You're welcome for bringing you back over.
Because everyone knows I'm a Marvel girly, but every now and then I like to dabble a little bit in the world of DC, because there's some things over there that cook. So we're back. Yep. I'm back again over here in DC. And
the only thing that keeps me from being DC, as much as I am Marvel, is the continuity. It seems like every other year they're doing some kind of crisis thing, and it redoes like, okay, so these aren't the characters from Earth 2, these are the New 52, but then there's New 52 Resurrection, but then these two universes merge, so that's why things are stuff like that. It's like, oh my god.
Confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing. I think DC's reset the universe, what, like 2 or 3 times now? And Marvel's only done it technically.
I wouldn't even call it like a reset. I mean, they just do retcons. I mean, they did it where like they were able to bring Miles over by having that into all of the Marvel verses were destroyed except for like some fragments, and Molecule Man, as a thank you for giving him a cheeseburger, was able to like put him into the 616.
Because you could say, I know some people say Secret Wars, at the end of Secret Wars, it's a universal reset, but I kind of don't think it is, because the universe is brought back to the proper quota, pretty much.
I mean,
so I don't know
it's basically what it was before. I mean, the Ultimate Universe didn't merge with the 616. We didn't get 61616 or anything like that.
No. They didn't pull a New 52 or a 52 and shit. So I guess Marvel hasn't done a universe reset, technically speaking.
Like not on the level of DC. There's been no. They don't have a Crisis version.
No. That's not Marvel's forte. But if they did play around with something like that, I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
That's why we got the Ultimate Universe and why they brought that back.
True. Which I'm loving it over there. Surprisingly, the X-Men, Ultimate X-Men is kind of lit.
Oh, I know. Everyone's bitching about this doesn't read like an X-Men book.
Not supposed to, babe.
It's only the first issue, but okay.
Yeah, it's only the first issue, and I'm like, it's Peach Momoko. What are you doing? What are you talking about? She's amazing.
And the fact that, she's going to be introducing, like, Japanese culture and lore to Kingdom. Because, if I remember correctly, they said body horror was going to be, like, a big thing for that series. Because, I mean, not all mutants end up looking like Jean Grey, fabulous omnipotence.
Exactly.
And there's like so many creatures in the yokai in Japanese lore that they could easily say, oh, these weren't actually demons. These were just mutants that looked really effed up.
Yes.
Well, but then again, they might not do that because, I mean, if it really is like the original Ultimate Verse, because this is like, basically Maker went back in time to create his own version of the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Because in the Ultimate Universe, mutants have only been around since like around World War II, because Wolverine was like Weapon X. He was like the very first mutant, and then it was like a virus or something that spread.
Yeah, Ultimate Universe is weird. As long
They try to take like a more technological look at things.
Yeah, I didn't dig it. As long as we don't get a Scarlet Witch Quicksilver incestual relationship, that's already a plus for me.
I don't know whose idea that was, or why they think that would be a good idea.
Whoever came up with that, prison.
I feel like whoever came up with that was like getting into Game of Thrones before they even turned it into a TV show.
God, I was just like, what the fuck? Reading, because I dabbled in the Ultimates when I first got into comics. I'm like, this is interesting, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out. Bye.
I remember like in what was it, Ultimates Volume 3, when Captain America makes a comment about their relationship and Wasp tells them they're actually in a relationship, and I think she chides Steve a little bit for like his reaction to it, and I was like, bitch, I'm on his side.
Period.
I'm all about being open-minded and everything, but fuck, no.
So what we're talking about today, ladies and gents, is not anything to do with incest, I swear. Who are we talking about today, Tim?
Naomi. We are talking about Naomi Mcduffie, aka Powerhouse. She's a relatively new comic book character, and I'll let you go into some details about her info.
So, Naomi Mcduffie is again, a superhero known as Powerhouse, who, unbeknownst to her, all she knew growing up was that she was adopted. She didn't know any better. She kind of has a very Superman-esque type of story in a way. We'll get more into it. But she was created back in, that's when her first #1 came out, was March 2019. But I think her first appearance, what was her first appearance? Was it
Naomi 1?
It was Naomi 1? Okay. That's why.
I mean, not counting like promotional material and all that.
Yeah, Naomi 1. So it was like March 2019 is when she had her debut, or when the issue came out. It was the actual date. Where is the actual date? It doesn't matter. It's March of 2019. Was her first.
2019.
The cover date when it was published on. I don't get DC or just comics in general, because it's like Naomi 1 is an issue of the series Naomi Volume 1 with the cover date of March 2019. It was published on January 23rd, 2019. So.
I never got that either.
Question mark?
But yeah, she came out in 2019, first issue.
Yeah, January 23rd, 2019, it looks like. I don't know what the cover date is. Hello? I don't know. January 23rd, 2019 is when it was published. For issue 1. That's when we first got introduced to the character of Naomi. And she was created by Brian Michael Bendis, David F. Walker, and Jamel Campbell. Now, of course, the most well-known name on that list is obviously Brian Michael Bendis, the guy who worked for DC as well as Marvel. Some of his Marvel creations consist of freaking Miles Morales. Yes. I was like, I had like a brain fart. Like, yeah, Miles Morales. Yeah, Miles Morales.
Yeah, well, he's one of the co-creators.
Yeah, he's one of the co-creators of Miles Morales. And he's done works for like Ultimate Spider-Man, Daredevil, New Avengers, House of M, Secret Invasion. He was a writer on Marvel for a while. He also wrote Civil War 2, which I have a love-hate relationship with that book. I have a love-hate for it.
Oh, it's the same with me, because like I feel like you can kind of understand the reasoning for the Civil War, the first one, a little bit more, because when it comes down to it, not everyone is going to be on agreement when it comes to like politics or policies or how superhumans should be dealt with, whether it's by law or because that was the thing about superheroes. A lot of them are vigilantes. They were technically breaking the laws when they became superheroes,
Yeah.
And when like literally thousands and thousands, and then you get these collateral damages, especially when you get people like the New Warriors who inadvertently caused the destruction of a whole school, although it was a little bit more complicated than that. There does come a point where you kind of have to be like, we really do need to have some kind of regulations even for the good guy. And it's like, how can we trust that this info is not going to get out to the bad guy? Or how can we trust the government of all people? I mean, but then like Civil War 2, it's like, okay, so you got this guy who can see the future. So far, he's had some accurate predictions. But then you find out that apparently there's literally like a minority report with this guy, and there's like a very low percentage that stuff will actually happen. It's like, what about all the other prophets that are running around like Blindfold, or this was before Disney. I don't know if Blindfold was dead by then or not, but it's like you can't tell me there's like some other seers or future seers you can like bring into the fold to be like, hey, maybe you can help make this better. Because one of the sad things was there was that one woman accused of being a Hydra agent, but then we would find out, and Carol Danvers was such a dick to her, and they rescued her, but then she would later join Hydra because after all that went down, she had lost her job and everything, and basically her whole life was ruined because of Carol's recklessness.
Yeah, and she ended up joining Hydra anyway.
It's like one of those self-fulfilling destiny things.
Yeah, and
it also, every time, a lot of times when an anti-Carol troll, oh, look what she did in Civil War II, look what she did in Civil War II. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
That's fine. I still love it. I still love her. She's still one of my faves. Support a woman's wrongs.
Nobody can be perfect.
Exactly. And to be perfectly honest, I know we're getting sidetracked here. To be perfectly honest, everything was fabricated by Hydra, Captain America anyway. Which made the whole story so much better.
Oh yeah, because then like when she had that vision, or the vision of Miles killing Cap, then it turned out so messy. I loved it.
Yeah. Because Steve Rogers ended up being it was right before fucking not Empire. It was God, what was that event called? Shit. Where Captain America became
Empire.
Secret Empire, there you go. Led right up to Secret Empire, and you just found out that everything, the Civil War II, was all fabricated by Captain America, by this quote-unquote Captain America behind the scenes, and it made, to me, it made Civil War II so much better. I was like, oh, now it makes sense. But that's not an episode on Civil War II. Even though now I kind of want to do an episode or two on Civil War II.
I'm all for it. Yeah, get a whole bunch of people together, yelling at each other by why we're right and the other ones are wrong.
Who sides with who? Put a pin in that. So getting back to Naomi, of course, Brian Michael Bendis, love him. I mean, I know there are some people that don't love Brian Michael Bendis. I think he's pretty good overall. Like he's done House of M, Secret Invasion, Siege. I mean, he's done a lot of big characters.
Some of it, he's had some bangers, but it's like he's had some misses, he's had some hits,
Yeah.
And I feel like every writer's like that, like sometimes they come up with something that's really good, and other times are like you read it, and it's like,
that's a question.
Okay.
Why? Yeah. But Naomi, I guess, will be one of his newest co-creations. Unless he might have created more characters since 2019, but
I'm sure he has.
As far as I know,
we're talking about like ones that are like most significant and all that.
Yeah. So yeah, Brian Michael Bendis, David F. Walker, and Jamal Campbell are all the creators of Naomi. I mean, let's just get right into it. A powerhouse.
Okay, so as you have said, she at some point in 2019, her and that's a matter for debate. But anyway, like you said earlier, she has a storyline very similar to Superman, because in her first issue, she lives in middle of nowhere place in Oregon, very kind of like Smallville in a way. Nothing ever happens there. That's even said throughout the whole series. Nothing that never happens around here.
Yeah.
But then when Superman shows up with what was his name? So yeah, he was fighting. Who's in charge of War World?
War World.
Isn't that what's called? Where basically it's a giant world of gladiator fights.
I think so. Let me look it up right quick. War World.
Well, the Mongol.
Alien Tyrant Mongol.
Yeah, so many characters. Yeah, they show up in her town, they fought, left a whole bunch of damage, and everyone's like, oh my god, did you see that? And she just missed it, more or less.
She's a huge Superman fan.
Yeah, she's a huge Superman fan, and eventually she gets a hint that nothing like that has ever happened before, except for something that might have happened like around the time she was born.
Yeah.
Or at least when she was adopted. So that gets her thinking, because she has a thing where she wants to be special. You know, she's going through that thing that a lot of adopted kids go through, even from like loving homes and everything. There's this sense that they want to be special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, she does some digging, some investigating, and eventually she finds out that not only is her dad, her adoptive father, one of the Rands, is that what they're called? The Rands, the alien species?
Yes. I think that's what it's called. They're called.
And, but the guy, the auto mechanic guy, is a Thanagarian, you know, and those two people have really bad blood.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, they both found her when their technology picked up a portal opening up on the football field in town, and she came out as a baby with someone carrying her, and they were being chased by some people, and the woman was killed before she could reveal any info, and they killed the attackers, and the portal closed, so they had no idea what was going on with Naomi. All they had was like a little black box that the woman had, and you know, her dad, her adoptive father, you know, him and his wife had been wanting to have a kid, and they decided to adopt her, and so it was like, you know, it's a slow burn. The first 6 issues, it doesn't really start picking up until like the 4th or 5th one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really about, you know, just her trying to figure out who she is, trying to like, you know, put the bits and pieces together, you know, follow the breadcrumbs, find out why her parents don't want her to hang out with what's his name? D, who is the mechanic I was talking about, the Thanagarian.
Yeah.
You know, but it also does a good job of giving a backstory for D, how him and his lover got tired of fighting and they tried to run away. And when they were reach a portal that would take them somewhere safe, she got shot, but he like got blasted through. So for all he knows is she's dead. So that's why he's been there all this time, hoping that maybe like she'll pop up. That, and then her stepfather, he's been there for years because he was stationed there, even though it was like, sorry about that damn computer. He was stationed there by his people, even though it's like, you know, point of nowhere. But eventually, you know, he's up, you know, lost the war or he forgot what. So he's just been there, and he went native and got married and all that. And then, you know, found out more about herself, and she touched the black box. Because it's like very similar to like, you know, kind of like Fortress of Solitude or the Kryptonian crystals, you know, when that virtual Jor-El tells Superman basically everything he needs to know or whatever.
Yeah.
We find out that in Naomi's dimension, because she's not from another planet, she's from another Earth. And on that Earth, the atmosphere became super thin, and so it got bombarded with like this cosmic radiation. And good news, it didn't turn everyone into a superhero, but it turned like 20 people, and apparently they were all like phenomenal. And one of them that was transformed was a guy called Zimbabwe, and he was on death row. He was a murderer, and he didn't take care of his powers, and he's literally one of the worst people you could have powers. And there was a big war amongst them. Some of them died, some got tired, you know, and left, or unknown. And those that remained kind of like became lords of their own like little fiefdoms on Earth, because that was Zimbabwe's whole thing. You know, this whole like, you know, fight or flight, you know, the stronger of the fittest or whatever. Survival of the fittest, I mean.
Yeah, survival of the fittest.
And, you know, her parents, you know, they were benevolent. They were good people. And I guess, you know, her father was such a good guy. And the funny thing was, her dad had been like a video gamer guy. So, like, he was really good when it came to, like, strategy and everything. So that's why Zimbabwe was never able to beat him, because he was just better at him than coming up with strategies. And I just love the fact that it's because her dad played video games, like, kind of like MMRs and all that. He was able to like come up with strategies and everything to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But she also finds out that, for a while there was kind of like a peace, long ago, all the nations lived together in harmony. But then something happened that no one thought was possible, and that was when Naomi's parents had her.
Yeah.
Because none of the other superpowered people had ever been able to have kids. But then for some reason, Naomi's family, her mom and dad had a kid, and that like drove Zambodo over the edge because, he believed it was a sign or something.
Yeah.
So, he gathered his forces and attacked Naomi's parents and their people and everything. And he wanted Naomi, even though she was a baby, he wanted to kill her because he felt like she was a threat or something. So that's why her parents, with the help of a friend of theirs, Akira, who was supposed to be like super smart, sent one of their followers through the portal. But just when they did that, he attacked with some of his people, and they went through after them. So, that's the poor woman that was killed, bringing Naomi over and everything. And in touching this cube, which, by the way, she absorbs, not only does she get all this information, she also unlocks her superpowers, and a super cool suit, by the way. And the one thing I love about this suit, it's not like the color scheme, it's not she's got like these big old shoulder pads. It's the fact she's barefoot. I don't know why, but like, just like, you get like everything else, but you don't get no shoes or anything. You just get and then you see all these other superheroes, like even Aquaman has shoes.
Yeah, but that's like a weird charm to it. I don't understand why they didn't give her footwear, but
it's probably because they spend too much money on the shoulder pad.
Oh, well, that's right. She does have a show, doesn't she?
No, her shoulder pads. We'll get to that.
Her shoulder pads.
We'll get to the train wreck of a show later. But she was new to it, and she didn't know how to control her powers. She knew how to like activate her suit. She does like this. She puts out one hand flat, and then she puts the other hand on top of it, and then like that's like the activation. And she gets like her eyes, her pupils turn into like this symbol that we see on her suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, at first she only had like energy projection, flight, super speed, and durability. Because then Zambado shows up, having sensed that her powers activated. He was able to open up a portal and got her to come through. And we find out that since her parents died, that the whole world's gone to shit. Like the atmosphere is shit, the oceans are shit, and like basically everyone has to struggle to survive. This is the world Zambodo wants, and he does have this device that he doesn't get to use, and we don't know exactly what it was going to do. But when Naomi reveals she knows who he is, and he's about to activate it, she finds Akira, who opens up a portal for her again to go through, and she does. And then after saying her goodbyes to her parents, Dee, and her friend Annabelle, who she just told, she took off. And then she would appear again in Detective Comics. Looking up right now. Detective Comics Detective Comics, Action Comics 1020, where she would meet Superman, ironically enough, and and she like literally like crash landed in Metropolis because she was still trying to get used to the whole like flying thing, and her powers were really erratic, and she was hoping Superman could help her. So she got to meet some of the Justice League members like Batman and the Wonder Twins and Ray Palmer. And it was also cool because not only, she was totally upfront with everyone about everything. And it was really cool to see her bond not only with Superman because of their shared backstory, but also with Batman because, both orphans and all that.
Yeah.
And he even gave her like some words of wisdom, like don't let these powers go to your head, don't depend on them too heavily. After that, she would make appearances in Young Justice and as a like kind of like background character in various other titles. Then she actually became more prominent in Justice League Volume 4, I believe, issue 72.
Yeah.
So we double checked.
I thought.
Oh wait, no, maybe that. I think it might have been before that. Oh, classic. You figures I can't remember. But yeah, I'm gonna double check and see what number it was in a sec. But moving on, there's this character called Brutus from Her World. I mean, not like he's not from her Earth. He's from her universe. He's like an alien.
Yeah.
And he just randomly started teleporting in places like Themyscira and other places. Picking fights with people, even with Black Adam. And he really lived up to his name because this guy was proving to be a real heavy hitter. And he really enjoys a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And luckily he would always return, something about the portal or something, and they recognized his energy signatures were the same as Naomi's. Justice League Volume 4, issue 59. That's when she reappeared as a main character in that series.
Yeah.
And the League decided to go to her universe to see what was going on, so they got to see for themselves what her universe was like. And it was also interesting because her Hot Girl's Inf Metal Club was having like a weird reaction to her world. And poor Aquaman, because of the sea it was all messed up. So basically, imagine you're a telepath and all you can do is hear the whole world screaming.
Oof.
So basically, that's Aquaman, only with like the seas and all that, because he's like connected to water or the sea life and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Then another event, we also found out as the story progressed, her working on her powers, her being trained. Aquaman actually wanted her to full on punch him when they were training, and at first she was hesitant, but then she did, and she sent him flying. It was such a funny thing.
Yeah.
Because at first she's like, oh my god. She was like, oh my god.
I just Aquaman.
I know, right? And it was also during this series that we would find out she has a unique connection to magic, whereas Superman is weak against it, she can act as a very natural arcanum magnifier to strengthen other magical beings. She worked with Nabu, the Lord of Order, and some other wizards and conjurers to banish Xandoth from the earthly plane. And Xandoth is like was he a chaos? Yeah, he was a Lord of Chaos, a powerful one. So the fact that she was able to act like basically as a magnifier to help them get the juice they needed to put his ass back to wherever he came from.
Yeah, put him back.
And then in season 2, or what was it, series 2? I think they call it series, not just seasons. They call it she which takes place after all that, and she even talks about because she's already started telling all her friends and everything. Things are a little tense between her and her parents. She's going to see a therapist, now, of course, leaving out the superhero bits. And, it's kind of tense because, her parents never wanted her to become a hero, simply because of the danger it would put her in, and because, of the same reason, someone wouldn't want to see their kid become a cop or a soldier or something that would just put them in danger. And so there's a little, difficulty in communicating there.
Yeah.
But eventually, we find out some dark secrets about her friend Dee, because apparently he goes missing, and she finds his old student from his old squad, and she shows a badge to Hawk Girl. Hey, do you know what this is? And Hawk Girl freaks out. Because according to her, basically what she just showed her would be the human equivalent of as a Nazi badge or something. You know, whatever team D was a part of was like hardcore black op, the people spooks you don't want to fuck with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, D? Because even though he's like, you know, he's bald, he's like, I don't know, he looks like he's 8 feet tall with like these Hulk-like level muscles. That's probably just how he's drawn. But he's got tattoos, and you look at this guy and you're like, he could literally snap me like a twig with just his pinky. But then when we see him, his interactions, you know, he's very big on mental health. Like when Naomi starts pressuring him about what he knows about her past, you know, he tries to tell her, you know, this is too much for me. I have to take in consideration my mental well-being. He's a gentle giant. But, you know, he's still got that dark side, because we find out that he had gone to Naomi's world to kill Zambado because he realizes that as long as Zambado is alive, he's never going to leave Naomi alone. And he doesn't want Naomi to have to be the one to have to kill him, because he knows what that does to a person, even if it's justified.
Yeah.
Plus, she's still just a kid, you know?
Exactly.
But he got his ass whooped.
He sure did.
Because it turns out that not only did Brutus show up, but, you know, apparently Zambado had some other friends in the wings waiting, and they all basically just jumped his ass.
Yeah.
And, you know, then they came to Naomi's Earth, and this is one that I loved Volume 2, because, you know, it was like going more into like Naomi, her parents, and basically the whole town finding out that she's a hero and how that's affecting everything, because some of them are of that mentality, oh, nothing like this ever happened until she showed up, or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then you see Naomi having to go against like all these like new villains who are like just as psychotic as Brutus and Zambado. And like one of these guys who's supposed to be allies with Zambado talks about when he thought that Zambado was dead, how he wanted to take his head himself. It's like, dude, these are the people you are associating yourself with? Damn.
Right?
And I really loved their designs. Like, seeing these characters and watching them fight, I really felt like I was like reading a manga or something. I can't remember the name, but I love their design. There was this one woman, she was muscular and red, and she had like these tendrils that kind of looked like centipedes coming out of her back.
Ooh, yeah, yes, I know exactly.
Well, I mean, not exactly like centipedes, but I mean, like just like I don't know. Yeah. That's the first thing I think of when I see them. But they're just like sharp blade whip things that you can use to like grab people or just slice and dice.
Yes.
And there was this one serpent, dragon, centaur creature with wings that could also apparently control lightning. Another female character who she kind of reminds me of Hela from Thor Ragnarok, because apparently she could create, pull blades and other sharp weapons, and even like a fan from like her cloak or something. And the one I really liked, I actually had to wonder if Jamal Campbell, the guy that does the artwork for the main Naomi series, if he got inspiration from manga, or especially Bleach, because the one character reminded me of the 8th Espada, Zeromi, his release form, how he has like that lower ball-shaped body, but like upper human body.
Oh, yes, I know exactly.
That's what this guy reminded me of, and I think he had what was it, another set of hands, I think?
I think so.
Here I am trying to talk about Naomi, and I'm just like, I can't remember their name. And he could control like some kind of mist, and he could solidify it.
Yeah.
And they were just going to town on Naomi, but she was really showing how far she's come since the first series, because she's been training with the Justice League, the Young Justice. Her powers were slowly starting to develop on their own. Like in flashbacks, we had found out that she'd gone against strong characters like Cyborg Superman and Solomon Grundy.
Mm-hmm.
She also showed ways to use her powers in more creative ways, instead of just blasting her opponents, like empowering her strikes, and also turning her opponent's own energy attacks against them, kind of like a momentum kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she was also starting to hear Akira's voice. And that was just like a natural progression of how everything goes. And the Justice League show up, and they're able to help her, take these guys down. And by the end of it, she transforms. Like, she gets like a full-on bodysuit, which actually looks like a suit she was wearing in a vision she had in the first series. She thought it was just a dream, but now I'm like, oh, that was actually her wearing this future suit.
Yeah,
and the
she's
best
so
thing
in
is
future.
he lets her keep his Thanagarian war axe. And I'm like, oh, that's the axe she had in the vision. And I'm like, where's she going now? Because apparently she can create wormholes from that dimension to her home dimension as she wants. Zimbardo and his people have been captured or imprisoned. And that's where the main series ends.
Damn.
Well, series 2. But unfortunately, we haven't gotten anything from series 3 yet.
Yeah, if there even is going to be one.
And it's like, because the only time she appears where she's not a background character or something is if Brian is, writing her and everything. It's like, bro, come on, let someone else write her. I need to see more Naomi, because I really do feel like, and I say this with full certainty, I feel like she could be the DCU equivalent of Kamala Khan from Marvel.
That's what I was thinking. She's giving Kamala vibes.
And I know that, it's a tall order, but I mean, if you look at their similarities, they're both women. Yeah. They're both newbies, relatively. I mean, Kamala's been around since 2013, 2014. Naomi's been around since 2019, but they both struggle to learn their abilities, and they both idolize older superhero characters.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. So that's why I've said for a long time, yeah, I think she could definitely be like their version of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, back to what we kind of touched upon for a quick second earlier, the Naomi TV show.
Yes, this show. I have not gotten around to watching it, but I saw a preview of it, and I've heard some things.
I hate to be that guy, but don't bother.
Oh?
I'm going to be real. I mean, I was hopeful, but I had my doubts simply because Volume 2, I think, had just come out when they were starting to announce this was going to be a show.
Yeah.
And when you have a character that's only been around for at that time 3, 4, 5 years or something,
yeah,
you don't expect much to do in a TV series without adding a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's not much to pull from.
And I liked how they did her character. She was very smart. She still had a bunch of friends. She wasn't some isolated, lonely teenager. She did have her hang-ups about being adopted and everything. But then there was some other things I just didn't get. I'm still confused. So is she from another planet, another world, or is she from another dimension? Because they were kind of vague about that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that apparently both her parents are aliens and they killed her parents for some reason. They took Naomi to protect her because that's how the series ended, her learning the truth and them trying to justify themselves and her flying away. So,
yeah.
And by the way, I don't know what CW was thinking when they made that scene of her flying off, but that was one of the worst CGI flight scenes I've ever seen.
Damn. Come on,
it's you guys are really gonna do her that dirty. Now, I like the actress that got to play her. There were things I would have been interested in seeing for a season 2 if it had happened. Sadly, that doesn't look like. Oh well, sadly, that's never going to be the case. Then, yes, that's pretty much all you can say about the TV show. They did that way too quick. There was plenty of other characters that they could have given that role to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like when they did Gotham Knights. What were they thinking? I never watched Gotham Knights. Did you?
Not really. No.
Me neither. I never saw a a single episode of Gotham Knights.
I didn't care.
Me either, because I mean, the fact that they made like a brand new character to be his like adopted son when Dick, Tim, Jason are right there, and just stuff like that, and some other things. But so as we've gone over, she's from another universe, so we have to wonder, is she going back to that world to kind of try and fix things? Because we do know that there are survivors. It's very difficult to survive in that society. Basically, everyone has to, make ends meet somehow. So is she gonna go back and try and fix things as best she can? Is she gonna have adventures in other dimensions or maybe other worlds? Because that was the thing about Zambato's allies. They weren't any of those powered people. They were aliens.
Yeah.
So, like, are there Kryptonians in that universe? Are there Thanagarians and stuff like that? Because, they even tried asking her, like, what Earth are you from? And she's like, ooh. Because, the whole, like, there being 52 Earths and everything.
Yeah.
And, we do know that there are other survivors of the 28 that were empowered. The ones that weren't killed during the big fight, the first war or whatever, they took off to parts unknown. They just wanted to see the universe or whatever. So they are still out there somewhere doing who knows what. And seeing what Naomi and Zambato are capable of. Zambato, we don't know exactly what he can do. We know he's super strong, super durable. I also think he has like some kind of control of the smoke that pours out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw him in a flashback in the first series using that on another person. Like, it was coming out of his mouth and like pouring into theirs and either smothering them or draining their life force or something.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised, if that's going to be like another power he has, or because the way her powers are going, like, her abilities, especially her senses are developing, you can definitely tell that there's still a lot more room for her to grow. But I also feel like Zambato, there's a lot more room for him to grow as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I would like to see, what Naomi's doing, how she's going to be helping her Earth, finding more about her history, like the other powered people. Are there any more of them? Will they return? When they find out how things have gone, and if Zambato had alien allies, does he have any more allies out there that are gonna like want to take over Earth now that he's gone or something? Because I use the term allies very loosely, because when he got his ass kicked by Naomi, they really didn't show any care or concern from him, and even that one guy, I wanted his head for myself.
Yeah, quote unquote with the ally.
We use that term very loosely.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I also like the art.
The art was pretty good.
Well,
I love the artwork.
When she's written by Jamal Campbell, of course. My own thing is like her shoulder pads. Like, I like how he draws them, but a lot of the times when other artists draw them, they draw them looking too thick. Like, literally making it look like she's got these giant cinder block Lego things sticking on her shoulders.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean.
It's like, yeah, they're big. They're not like freaking protruding like that. It was also be cool to see like her suit. Like, did Akira design it? Probably, because she was an ally to their family and she's supposed to be super smart. How much more evolution is she going to go through?
Right.
How often does she return home? Just little things like that. And there's so many storylines that they've had. Well, I should probably be thankful she hasn't been involved in certain ones like Crisis.
Oh God.
But
Crucifier.
I would like to see her join. I would even like to see her join Teen Titans.
Right.
I mean, she's
That's
young.
what I thought they were gonna do with her.
I know. I know.
She's a good character to put in like Teen Titans.
Yeah, but then when they get characters like Raven, who's probably like one of the most powerful characters in that series.
Yeah. Fair.
It also depends on the foes they gotta face. But So, hopefully soon we'll get to see her again because, there's so much for her. I'm excited to see happen that could happen. And also for her to get more attention because I feel like, she's a black woman and, she's adopted. And I feel like, if everyone, whenever they introduce a black character or they race swap a character from white to black, someone's like, why can't they just make their own characters? And then they introduce a new character or something, then you gotta hear, oh, it's all woke. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But then,
it comes in territory.
And, so bring in a black character that has all these abilities and everything, that's a total badass. And I really love how they've done her energy abilities because they have like this crescent moon kind of aura kind of appearance.
Yes, I love how it looks.
I love it because like it really stands out to like other just straight up beams of energy and everything,
Yes.
And it also adds to like her aesthetic.
Most definitely. It's just it's like a nice little cherry on top to add that type of detail to her. I mean, the artwork is already phenomenal as it is for the most part, and that is just like, oh, yes, give it to me.
And I like it when they do that with certain characters because, like, even if they do have very similar abilities, they can add like an aesthetic twist on it because all the people that control like heat, electricity, or some kind of kinetic concussive energy.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's just like a beam that might have like a different coloring or something. But then when you add it where like it kind of has like this look, a certain look and feel to it, it kind of really helps that character stick out.
To go more in detail with her powers that Tim has already talked about here, to kind of go in more detail, she has, according to this source that lists all her powers that she has displayed, we have, of course, transformation. Of course, Naomi can obviously transform into a superpowered form of herself with this unique power she has. While in this form, of course, it's where she gets her golden armor, and it's where she gets her superhuman abilities. Some of which are energy projection, energy enhanced strike, energy transference, energy blast, and magic augmentation. Yes, that's the word.
You can do augmentation.
Yeah. And then, of course, portal creation, because obviously Tim mentioned that she can make portals and jump through them to go back to her home universe as well as the main universe that she currently lives in. She could fly, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, durability, stamina. She has a healing factor, enhanced senses, enhanced hearing, hyper cosmic awareness, which I love. When a character has hyper cosmic awareness, it's quite interesting because you just have a view on the universe that's very.
I mean, like, she's not like knows everything that's going on. It's more like her ability to connect with like Akira, even though they're in different dimensions or something. I feel like that's something they could. And the thing is, you also got to be careful because you don't want to make a character overpowered.
Yes.
Because then it's like, oh, why doesn't Superman help Batman and Gotham all the time? Because then what's the point?
Yeah. Exactly. And then, of course, she has interdimensional vision and a preference detection, which she has a lot of powers here. And, of course, it's just, damn. Girl, you are powered, and we need to see more of you, sis. Like, come on.
Like, how's it going to develop? Use it in creative ways. She did a good job of doing that in the last series.
Exactly. And it's like, come on, Brian. Let someone else write her. Please.
And I'd also like to know more about, like, why did Hot Girl's Nth Metal react like that in her home reality?
Yes.
Because we know it's supposed to be like anti-magic, so is like the cosmic energy like a magical energy?
Questions. We need answers. That is a good question, because that's something I was kind of pondering too. I was like, that's weird. Care to explain?
And oh my god, I'm paying attention to everything, but I'm also scrolling through like Twitter real quick while we're talking, and one of my people is actually talking about Naomi. It's destiny.
It's destiny. I mean, this character I would say it has a decent sized fan base.
Yeah, and it's definitely grown quite a bit. I mean, not as much as I wish it was. It's because, get her more exposure, have her appear in more stuff.
Exactly.
But then again, every time someone does bring up, wasn't she in that shitty movie? What? It's like, why you guys always gotta point out the bad stuff?
Right?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. It's just like, so what? The show exists. Cool, right? Just let it go. It doesn't exist.
It can't all be gems.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, we're here we are just waiting for the next one, if that is going to be a thing. Hopefully they do something with her. It's been a couple of years since her last appearance. Outside of some background stuff and a few cameos here and there.
One thing I would like to see is if she does join a team, it'd be something like maybe a little bit more like outer space focus, because if she does go to her world and like does some space traveling.
Yeah, put her in the cosmic part of DC. Get her like the Ultimates. I would love to see her and yeah. I would love to see her and Joe Mulligan team up. Ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Right? Especially since Jamal does artwork for both those characters.
There you go, easy pickings. DC, take it, do it, get on it.
But, he also built her to become one of the very many characters that is made and has so much potential, but then just isn't used.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. Like, what's the point of making these characters if you're not going to use them?
Just to have them out there so somebody can get them in like 20 years.
Oh, hate to off topic real quick. You can I know you'll edit this out, but Julia Garner has been cast as the Silver Surfer in Marvel's The Fantastic Four.
You're lying.
She will reportedly play Shala Ball, who was the Silver Surfer's first love in the comics.
Julia Gardner as the
Julia
Silver
Garner.
Surfer. Huh. Interesting.
I'm trying to remember what she's been in.
She has been in... let me see.
She's been in stuff.
Yeah, nothing I've really seen. She's going to be in the new Wolfman movie that comes out in 2025. And she's in the second Sin City. She was on...
Let me Wikipedia her.
Yeah, she's been on some stuff, but there's not a lot that I haven't really seen her in anything. Damn, she is going to be the Silver Surfer. So they are making the Silver Surfer a female. They're using
they can't say it's not a comic actor because the character is in the comics, so...
It is. The ball... Interesting. So it looks like they're combining, because she's the lover of the Silver Surfer. So they're combining her and making her into the Silver Surfer.
I think they're probably reverse it, where instead of him taking the role, it was her.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. I'm curious to see how that turns out. A female Silver Surfer.
It'll be interesting, but then you get the fake outrage and everything like that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see how they're going to do, like, how the Fantastic, because supposedly it's going to take place in the 60s.
Yeah.
So is this going to be like, is it going to be like an alternate Earth? Are there going to be variants? Or is it going to have some, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with Kang, because, I mean.
Fair. If they even still want to do anything with Kang.
Don't even get me started on that hot mess.
Because, I mean...
it's like, if you don't want to use the guy, just recast him.
Fair, but they can also just get away from Kang, because technically Loki in season 2 technically took care of Kang. So, took care of the Kang problem, quote unquote. So they could technically just leave Kang alone and saying that, oh, Loki's taking care of it. God, Loki.
I love Loki and everything, and I love the ending, like him becoming the tree. That was awesome. But, like, I don't want Kang to be taken care of just like that, like, because he's such a big bad in the comics.
Yeah.
And he really is something that, you know, everyone, I mean, I'm sure he'll find a way. Just the fact that you got all these variants with all these technologies. Hell, I'm fairly certain there's even some versions that probably even know magic. They'll probably find a way by putting their heads together.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's always been cool about Kang is, like, you never know what version you're going to get. Literally, you don't know if you're going to get the good version, the bad version, the old version, the young version, the Egyptian version. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gosh, what?
I hate when, like, they hype something up, then something goes wrong in real life or something, and they decide to scrap it or change things after they got us all hyped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also,
for me, that just feels like such. I know, but just get another actor.
Well, not just that, but the whole the movies are not making as much money as they want, and people aren't enjoying the Marvel stuff nowadays. They're trying to. I guess my guess is they're probably going to change a lot of stuff, cancel some things, and put new things in. Like, we're never going to get another Ant-Man and the Wasp, or I hope we get another not Guardians, the Eternals, but I don't think we're going to, and it makes me very upset.
Oh, they said that we're probably not going to get it now, which is stupid. You know, the funny thing is, I see a lot of these movies get shit on. Eternals, the Marvels, but then a lot of times...
so much.
But then when the movies come out on digital, or they come out on Disney Plus or whatever, and then people actually see it for themselves.
They're like, oh yeah,
and that's the thing. A lot of the time, because ever since COVID, people have just adjusted to Netflixing and Disney Plusing, and I'm not going to pay $20 just to go see a movie when I can wait for it to come out on digital with my $7 or $8, $10 monthly subscription.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I still like going to the theaters because, you know, surround sound.
Same.
But you can also see, like, you know, especially how things are nowadays with the economy and how tight money is for everyone, you can definitely see why people would choose that option. Because if you're not, I mean, I don't know what tickets are like for you where you live, but for me, it's like, if I want to get one ticket for myself and a medium drink, and it's also depending on the time of day.
Yeah.
It'll be cheaper at a certain time of day. I really will be dishing out $20. That's gas money.
Yeah.
Like, I love this series, I love these movies, but bruh, I'm not spending $20 when I got other stuff I could be spending on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
A lot of people, they take things they read online to heart, I feel. They listen too much to what other people are saying before the movie even comes out, or they just judge by a trailer. There's been times where I've seen a trailer, and I'm like, eh. Then I go see it, I'm like, oh, that was a lot better than I thought it would be. And there's been times when I see a trailer and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be good," and then I see the movie, it's like, yeah, it really wasn't as good as I thought. Like my mom, she really wanted to see Barbie when it came out in theaters, but then like we saw it on the when it came out on digital, and I liked it. And she's like, "Oh, I'm glad we didn't go to movie theater to watch it." She still watches it every time it's on though.
Yeah, I liked Barbie. Yeah, it was good.
And she's like, "I like it. It's not something I want to spend $20 on." Oh, but so I feel like there's the whole medium for how we watch movies now has changed. This isn't the days where you would just go to the movie theater and then wait for it to come out on VHS. This isn't even the early days of DVDs. This is the days of streaming, of Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Roku. I'm probably forgetting like 50 other things that let you watch movies or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like in an economy where everything's super tight and people really have to watch what they're doing, it's going to make sense that they're not going to be going to theaters as much as because they got to make choices. They got to make smart choices. I mean, some movies have done better. Like, I mean, remember when Barbie and Oppenheimer, Top Gun 2 came out?
Yeah.
Those were like big, you know what I mean? Made lots of money.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not just because of promotion, because let's be honest, some of these movies, you can get some very good promotion, if any at all. But it's also just like, people like to see the movies summertime or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
When it's nice and warm out and, everyone's going to go see it. Yeah. So that's one reason why I think it doesn't do good like they used to. Now, are they all perfect? No. Do they all have their flaws? Yeah. But a lot of the times I see it when people shit on these movies, it's like a lot of their reasonings and criticisms can easily be explained. Mm-hmm. And like I said, everyone has their point of view. Everyone, not saying that no one's criticism is about, like, I'll tell you right now, I didn't like the fact that they made Eternals like androids, organic androids, whatever. I preferred if they had to where they were humans transformed into these immortals by these space gods for whatever reason. I did like how they added a sort of cosmic morality to it.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole, okay, so a celestial destroys a world with its birth, but then that celestial creates like entire galaxies which have thousands of more life. So is it really right to spare one planet which would cause none of these galaxies to be born? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical good versus evil. It was just like a morality thing.
Most definitely. God, I love the Eternals so much. It's in my top 5. It's one of my favorites.
I also hate how people shit on Sprite.
Sprite's a little bitch.
I always felt bad for her because she's always a kid. Like in the very opening of the movie, she's using her illusion powers to flirt with a guy. Yeah. Then like he touches her hand and realizes it's an illusion, and she's like, "Oh, gotta go." And like she did love Cersei. She even encouraged Cersei to tell Dan that she was an Eternal and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, she had a thing for Icarus. She believed in him. She loved him. And she even wanted to die because, like, in the final scenes when she's fighting with Cersei, she says, "I hope next time I come back, I'll be different." Because even Kingo, like, after 5 years of living together in a village in the old times, he left her. Because people were starting to notice that she wasn't aging.
Yeah.
And can you imagine she probably had to be, they probably had to play a hot potato with her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I've had her for 5 years, you guys need to look after her for 5.
Yeah.
Because eventually people are going to notice.
Yeah. I mean...
And that's body dysmorphia that she'll never have. I mean, the only kind of people she'd be able to have, like, sexual relations with are the kind of people you don't even want to talk about.
Yeah, no.
It's like she's a literal...
Now she can at least grow up.
Exactly. And, so
as long as Icarus stays dead, I'm fine, because Fuck Icarus. I will say it right on this podcast. Fuck Icarus. Fuck that bitch.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back, because remember they say
sure.
they store that memories, so if he does come back, it'll probably be... Well, no, it might not be, because he did join the Unimind. But I'm not sure, because like I said, that's how they transfer their memories, like, right when a planet's destroyed, they join a Unimind with the Celestial, and then their memories get transferred. Yeah. But I don't know if the memories got transferred when Unimind with Tiamat took place, because, he died and everything.
Yeah. I mean, interesting.
So that'd be pretty interesting to see.
I need to see the Black Knight. Give me the Black Knight. Give me the Black Knight. Like, the Ebony Blade was right there. Right fucking there.
I
Give
know,
me the Black fucking Knight. God damn, I want to see Otherworld, damn it. Oh.
I feel like DC's getting, or DC. I feel like Marvel is starting to get dangerously close to what's going on with DC right now, where they basically wiped this slate clean and are like redoing everything.
To be perfectly honest with you, the slate that's going to wipe everything clean is going to be Secret Wars.
Don't say that. I don't want anything.
It's going to be Secret Wars. If
they do something where like they added Miles Morales in, okay, that's fine.
It's going to be
Secret Wars. A whole fucking reboot.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be Secret Wars. Secret Wars is going to, I guarantee it, they're going to keep the Fantastic Four and they're going to keep some other heroes and stuff. But it's going to be a new universe, because the reason they're releasing the Fantastic Four before Secret Wars, because they're going to do the whole thing with Doctor Doom. I hope we get God Emperor Doom or some shit, and then Reed and the Fantastic Four are going to be the ones that rebuild the multiverse. And from there,
they would have their kids would be there too, so I wouldn't be surprised if Franklin shows off his God power by putting the place back together and everything.
Exactly, and they're going to use that to fix certain things about the MCU that people want fixed, or people want, or the creators see that as a problem. They're going to fix it in the ones after. So they're going to have a kind of I guarantee they're probably going to have like a soft little reboot. Not like reboot the whole universe and recast characters, because I don't see them doing that for like Iron Man and the original Avengers. But it's going to be kind of a soft reboot in a way, because they're probably going to fix a lot of the things that they see as a problem, I guess, for right now. So we won't know until 2027. Jesus Christ. I'm going to be 35. Ew.
We don't talk about our ages.
I'm old. I mean, I just turned 32, but
I'm 35.
You're 35? I would never have guessed. I would never have guessed.
Thank you for saying that. Nope. But sadly, I am 35. Oh, I get my coworkers all upset because a lot of them are in like their 50s and 60s and stuff like that. And, I'll be like, oh, 35, I'm so old. I got this arthritis, I got aching bones and everything. And they're like, boy.
Shut up. In gay years,
I'm seen nothing yet.
But yeah, I'd be like, but like in gay years, I'm a corpse. I'm a literal crypt keeper.
That reminds me of this movie I saw. It was years and years ago with it had real porn actors. Ron Jeremy was in it, and his penis got infected by an alien, and it came alive and detached from his body.
Oh my god.
And this one porn star was going to stay behind, to make sure it died in an explosion. And she's like, you go. I've lived a good life. I'm 45. And they're like, that's not that old. And she's like, yeah, but in porn star years, that's like being in your 80s.
Yeah. I see that. I see that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from what parts I do keep from when we got sidetracked, any final thoughts on Naomi?
I am very much hoping we see her again. and it will be soon. And I'm very excited to see what the future has in store for her, how she's going to continue to develop as a character.
Maybe we'll see her in the movies.
Please, hopefully it'll be better done.
Hopefully. We can only hope. We can only hope. So
I would like. I know she's already appeared in DC Legends, the game, but if she was ever come in Injustice 3 or appear in Young Justice, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's all I got.
So on that note, where can everyone follow you, find you, plug some things in?
You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Fusedtwilight.com. I'm also actually on YouTube as well. I haven't posted anything on there in a long time. I think the last thing I posted on there was something about Namor when they first announced he was going to be the villain in Black Panther 2.
Ooh.
And I did all that because there's when the pandemic hit and things were boring. And I needed something to do. So I'm like, hey, everyone else is doing YouTube stuff. I'll do YouTube stuff. I'll join the fad.
Yes. So yeah, go ahead and send me that link, and then I'll post that. If you want to give me your YouTube link, I'll post that in the description below, along with my link tree to the other podcasts in the Activate Productions, as well as my Twitter if you want to follow me at Neonic Pumpkin, as well as at House of Ideas Pod _pod on X, or sorry, I'm not calling it by that stupid ass name. Twitter, yeah, Twitter. So, thank you all for listening to today's episode. Thank you, Tim, for coming back.
Always a pleasure.
I think we're gonna go plan for the next one to be around Civil War 2.
Sounds good to me. See if we can get more people on that, because I would love.
Oh yeah. A
us
debate?
all yelling and screaming at each other. Yeah. No, she had choices. No, she didn't. There was a future. You know what I mean?
Yes. You know what? I'll find out. I'll put out a message into the to that group chat thing on Twitter that we're all part of. And see if anyone's interested in that. Otherwise, I might go down my list of usual guests to see what I could find out. Because I would want everybody to read let me see, how many issues in total of this Civil War II storyline? 154 issues of story for Civil War II. That includes all the one-shots.
Tie-ins.
Yep. I would want everybody to read the whole goddamn thing. The whole thing. Or at least the main story, if nothing else.
I like the main story.
I've read some of the tie-ins. I mean, some of the tie-ins are good. But that's just me. But I'm gonna get on that, and y'all might see that episode in the future. So again, thank you all for watching. Oh, of course, and thank you all for watching, and catch y'all next time. Until then, bye.
Bye.